Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus. You are tuned in to the Lone Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Yo, what's poppin'?
Not your intro.
I know.
You know, progressively
It's
over
gotten worse.
It's gotten worse and worse. Subjectively.
Yeah.
Who you talking to out there that says, John, I love it when you bring no energy to the show. It's my favorite time.
It's palpable, is what people say. It's palpable, your lack of energy. And I do it for you folks.
All right. Well,
Hey, everyone, Dustin's coughing because I
Yeah.
got him to smoke a bowl with me. I was kidding, NBA friend. He did not do that. Disclaimer. He never.
Sit down. Oh, man.
I'm not editing that out.
You are not editing that out. No, he did not get me to sit down and smoke a bowl with him.
You know, you
not
just
that
had
I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do so during the working
Boy, yeah,
hours.
you just had a petri dish full of kids over this past weekend for something.
We did. We celebrated our daughter's 16th birthday.
Whoa,
quinceañera? Sweet 16.
Let's go. Bailamos.
Yeah, technically it is on this coming up Monday, but we celebrated it. I should say she celebrated. My daughter's been planning her own birthday party since she was about 4. But mom and I always assist. So her mom and I always make sure that we drive her to Party City. We hop on Amazon. We buy whatever she put in the cart.
So she puts together her own list? Like she's not there aimlessly
Everything.
wandering around?
Like she's on Canva. She's making her own invitations.
Get out of here.
Yes. Yeah. So, but it was cool. And we were a little bit worried about the weather because it rained on Saturday. John, I didn't tell you this. Saturday when it quit raining about 1 p.m. So all the girls were coming over around 6 and it was an outdoor birthday where the girls were doing movie night out on the lawn. I bought this like 10 foot by 10 foot blow up projection screen.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Like it has like the,
I know
air, the air's going.
It blows air.
Yes. And then I bought a projector. It hooked into her laptop. They had like all the outdoor furniture,
Forgot
plus blankets
to check
and
the
couches.
weather.
No, when you planned the party 3 months ago, you couldn't predict the weather.
Sounds like a cruise I took.
So nonetheless, the weather, it went off without a hitch.
Okay.
15 girls over, pizza, Chick-fil-A nuggets, cupcakes. We had all the popcorn, all the candy, all the soda. They had pillows and blankets out on the lawn along with furniture. All I heard was a gaggle of laughing for hours at a time. I'm like, that must have gone well. And I know my daughter, she probably was on Pinterest and she probably saw this idea and this is what she wanted to execute. Because it was between this or getting a hotel at Universal Studios for her and 3 friends.
She probably ran the ROI, bro.
She probably, knowing my daughter, she ran the ROI. She is my kid. She shares my DNA. But it was awesome. But no, what I was going to tell you, at 1 o'clock on Saturday.
AM?
PM.
Okay.
Okay, so the rain had come in starting at about 8 a.m. It went until about noon. At 1 p.m., I had the blower out in the backyard, blowing the backyard dry before I then went and got the lawnmower. And it's wintertime. And even though we live in Florida and it's wintertime, you sometimes need to mow your grass. Sometimes you don't.
Just to edge it up.
But I actually got the mower out. I'm thinking, you know what? If I can maybe bag up some of this water, bag up some of the clippings.
Moisture, yeah.
Yep. Then I did that. Then I got back out there with the blower. I blew some more. It was a good time. But that's how I spent my weekend. That for the most part.
I'm so
is what I
glad
did.
you said that because you are so extraordinary. It's flabbergasting.
Extraordinary? I think I'm pretty extraordinary.
No. Just like you said it, extraordinary, Dustin.
Okay.
You woke up on a Saturday and you vacuumed your lawn basically because it was wet because your duster
and I did the Super Duty air dryer. You know how like you take your shirt out of the dry cleaner, out of the dryer, and it's not fully dry, but you still want to wear it.
I do that all the time.
So you get out your wife's hair dryer.
You do a lot.
You don't. You just what do you do? Is iron it?
Nothing. You saw me back in the day. I would hang them up on the fence, or them shits get moldy. People stay away from me at the gym.
Okay, well, nonetheless, I had the big lawn blower, and I was blowing my backyard dry so that those girls could enjoy.
Thank you for the story. This gives our viewers and listeners such a good insight to like, what does Dustin do? I bet he's hammering like FHA guidelines on the weekends, but no, he's at home being like, you know what? I could probably take a steel blower to my lawn and dry that off faster than
my morning Saturday actually started at about 5:15 when I woke up.
Something's wrong with you.
By 6 a.m. I was at Baldwin Park training with my triathlete club. Had a great 8-mile workout. Came home. Then we had to put a bunch of Christmas stuff in the attic. Then I got out the blower, the lawnmower.
Hold on, so
wipe down the back
whoa,
porch.
Whoa. And so the way you're telling the story made you. So you got this done before noon?
No, I couldn't do the blowing until afternoon. Before noon, it was all about putting away things from Christmas in the attic.
Okay.
That was, and get my workout. I got my workout in. I got everything up in the attic. Made myself this. I love breakfast. I made myself this big breakfast.
That's work.
My dog loves it when I make breakfast too, because he always knows he gets to lick the spoon from the cheesy eggs.
That's also work.
And then after I ate, I actually did some work. I did some T-Lop online.
See,
work
that's what I see. There's always a nugget in there. Do you see
well, it
where
was
I'm
raining.
getting
What
at?
else was I going to do? So while I'm
If it's raining, go outside and fucking blow off your driveway like you do to keep it dry.
you don't blow off the driveway until it's dry, and you blow off your driveway to get all the leaves off. John, where are we going this episode?
No, it doesn't matter. It's our show, Dustin. It's episode 401. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so yes, that was my Saturday. It's just all of that stuff compiled into one. It finally culminated with me going to bed at like 11:30 when the final NFL game ended. No, when this drops, we would have just finished up.
So thank you.
Thank you to everyone who came to the T-Lop Live Sales Mastermind event in Tulsa.
Yeehaw.
I'm just going to put it out there. It was a badass event.
It was fire.
Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Cabin Boy Brewery. It was a great time. Lots of value, lots of networking. Y'all, if you want to have us come to your city, all you have to do is reach out to my team, find some sponsors, find the venue, put it together. We'll do the rest. And by the rest, it means we'll show up and we'll present, we'll speak, we'll teach, we'll bring the energy, we'll bring the fun. Y'all do everything else.
Please do.
Like find the venue, pay for it, and get our happy asses up there.
Let's go.
All right. But no, Carrick Draper, man. Carrick absolutely killed it. Just killed it. Did a great job of bringing together the sponsors, finding the panelists, because we did a top producer panel with LOs, we did a top producer panel with realtors, and then I closed everything out with a keynote, right? I'm doing my 2024 keynote, which is the loan officer's formula for success. It's a how-to guide on attitude and effort, a how-to guide on skills versus effort.
Okay.
So anyhow, but that's not what we're talking about today, John.
I know, but that dovetails nicely better probably than anything else we could have started with into today's episode.
Yeah, well, today's episode is very much for the home buyer.
Uh-oh.
Right? So for my loan officer friends who are tuning in, I'm making content for you specifically right now to share with your clients who are real estate agents, to share with your customers who are mortgage borrowers, who are the people who need financing to go buy a house. For my realtor friends, I'm making content for you to give to your prospective home buyers. And if you're a home buyer, I'm making this just for you. Just for you. Share this with anyone else that you know that's looking to buy a house. And if you have questions regarding the home buying process or how you could qualify or best practices, reach out to us. We are a resource for you. And I promise you, we are so well connected throughout this entire industry that we can make sure that when needed, you can also be recommended to a approved T-Lop professional, whether it's on the real estate side of things or on the mortgage financing side of things. We'll make sure that we hook you up with the right professional who can offer you their services and provide for you.
Dustin, you are the plug.
I am the plug.
Not when you say it like that, but yes.
A plug, like, man, John, how many we're going like, I'm gonna plug something in? Is this
Are you
plug for?
Are you kidding me? Right? You're the plug, the connect. Like you got the goods.
Oh, there we go. It's Monday, man, John, and I've had this freaking cold for 3 weeks now. It's kicking my rear end.
I don't think that's a cold, then, bro.
Maybe it's long COVID. Who knows? But
I don't know.
I mean, at this point, I don't have a
Talk
fever.
to your boy Travis Kelsey about that. I don't know nothing about that shit.
Okay. Yeah, bear with me as I cough up a lung again.
Away from me.
Holy cow. Let's go.
Okay. What are we talking about today?
We're doing an episode for home buyers, I said.
I know. So what? Get into
5 mistakes to avoid when buying a house.
Okay.
That's it. Title it right now. 5 mistakes to avoid when buying a house.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, did the intern start today?
She did.
Nice.
We had an awesome call with shout out Jacqueline.
Jacqueline the intern. Yes. Sook, as I like to call her.
She approved that?
No, she has not approved that yet, but
I was like, do you mind if I call you No, Jacqueline.
It's Jacqueline.
Yeah, it's not Jackie. It's not Jack.
It's Jacqueline.
It's Jacqueline, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her last name is
Sookless.
And I'm like, I can call her Sook.
Yeah. Or Psy, because it's TSI.
Probably not. Probably Sook. Yeah, probably Suk. It's all Greek to you, John.
It.
Nonetheless.
Well, hey.
Nonetheless.
Well played.
Yeah. So, so we're going to create this content. Then hopefully Suk will do a great job of chopping it up, getting it up on the TikTok, on our Instagram.
On the TikTok.
On the TikTok, yes. On the TikTok. Facebook, where it all goes.
It's because you look like, honestly, your outfit, shout out because you do have big arms, but you look like the cover of like Step Brothers or some shit.
I nerded out, didn't I?
Never seen the movie because Will Ferrell's not funny to me, but I hear people make him laugh or something.
People make Will Ferrell
Whatever
laugh,
the
Will
other
Ferrell makes
people
them
laugh.
laugh.
Yeah, but he's not wrong demographic.
I like me some Will Ferrell.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you look
But
like
yeah,
him.
I totally nerded out today.
Look
I went
like
for the smart look.
You did.
This was the smart look. I went for it.
Yeah, you ain't miss either. Number one way for home buyers to avoid these 5 mistakes is
Just like that.
Realtor. That's what it says on your card.
It does say realtor on my
Yeah.
note. Yes. The number one mistake that home buyers make, and I've seen this for 20 years now, is A, not willing to hire the services of a professional real estate agent, or hiring the wrong real estate agent. Okay, buying a house for me is not a DIY project. This is not a do-it-yourself. It makes no sense. Like, yes, I know you can start online. I 100% know that you can start online. I know that you can walk into a builder's subdivision and talk to the sales agent. I know that you can walk into an open house and talk to the person who's there. But I don't think it's advisable for someone to do it themselves. And this is going to be interesting to follow as those lawsuits that are currently transpiring where ex-clients of real estate agents are suing based on their commission practices. And the outcome of these lawsuits could upend the way that real estate has transacted for the past almost 100 years. But traditionally, when you're buying a house, you are not, quote unquote, paying for the realtor's commission. Okay, that commission is already baked into the purchase price, meaning the seller is going to sell their home for a certain price, and contractually, they then are going to pay their agent some commission, and they're going to pay the agent who brings the buyer some commission. So going at it yourself has always been a big mistake. I'm like, because you're not going to get a better price, in my opinion, doing it yourself. I don't think the consumer at large understands everything that goes into negotiating a contract, everything that goes into the process from being pre-qualified to doing home inspections, to doing walkthroughs, to actually closing, and then changing over their utilities and figuring out the logistics of moving out of one place into the next place. Like, I don't think that they are experienced enough as a whole to go at it alone. So I'm pretty convinced that 9 out of 10 aren't going to get a better price doing it themselves. So all of a sudden, it's like, look, under the current setup, it doesn't make any sense to do it yourself. So when I'm looking at the biggest mistake a home buyer makes, it's because they don't go and contract the services of a professional to help them navigate the process of not just finding the houses, but then negotiating the offers, right? Finding the houses, but what if you're one of 5 offers? What are you going to do or say that's going to allow your offer to be one of the top 2, not one of the top 5?
No, I'll just offer them more money and I'll go right to the top.
Possibly. Yeah, but then it's like, that defeats the purpose. Like, you were doing it yourself, but now you paid more for the house. You're doing it yourself. Now all of a sudden you're paying a portion of the seller's closing cost. And you had no idea because you don't even understand A, what closing costs are, or B, what's common and customary in your market. So you very well could have set yourself up to be taken advantage of. Or you set yourself up, maybe you signed a contract that was written by the seller or the seller's agent that has you doing things in a timeline that just aren't feasible. 3-day for a home inspection, 5-day for an appraisal, 7 days for a loan approval. All those are doable, but that's a time frame that is definitely sped up. And if you're a novice and you're trying to save money because you didn't want to hire a real estate agent, that's just not advisable. So the very first mistake that I see people make, especially when buying a house, we're talking about buying a house, is not hiring a real estate agent. The second one is hiring the wrong real estate agent. And I could potentially argue that they could be flip-flopped. That maybe you knew to hire a real estate agent, but you didn't hire the right one. Because you have to understand, what are they doing for you? If all they're doing for you is giving you access to a house because they have the lockbox code,
Cha-ching.
They have access to MLS.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, no, not cha-ching. Like what are you spending your money on?
You're right.
Because at the end of the day, that person is going to earn $5,000, $8,000, $15,000 on your transaction, and it needs to be more than just showing up to walk you through. Right? They should be acting as a concierge for you. They should have experience. And if they don't have experience, because maybe it's your best friend's sister and you want to trust your best friend's sister, then your best friend's sister who just got her license and is just starting out better have a badass team behind her. So you're trusting your best friend's sister, not because of her experience, but because she has access to this team. And collectively, that team's going to help her negotiate on your behalf. That team's going to help you make sure that your offer gets put to the top. The team's going to make sure that you have the right inspector and that you understand how to renegotiate a contract when and if it needs to be done. And you have a system in place to make sure that you have utilities turned on, your locks changed, and the movers are coordinated appropriately with your closing date all before you do your walkthrough. Like, these are things that great realtors or great real estate offices are doing. When I'm looking at what are some common mistakes that home buyers are making, it's kind of twofold. A, many don't want to hire a realtor because they don't understand how realtors get paid currently. I'm throwing that caveat out there because it could change in 2 or 3 years. It could change as quick as 6 months from now. I doubt it. Right? These lawsuits that I've alluded to, and we've done a couple episodes on, these lawsuits, they're going to take years to be litigated due to appeals and everything else. But nonetheless, you need to use a realtor, and they need to use the right realtor. Right? Not just any realtor, the right realtor. Like, you wouldn't hire just any heart surgeon. You wouldn't hire just any dentist. You wouldn't hire just any attorney if you are actually litigating something serious, besides, like, John, that one time that you got locked up for stealing a pack of gum.
Never locked up. They never caught me.
Okay. Well, good for you then.
Come on, man.
Good for you. It must be because you were camo.
Did you know, factoid, back in the day, if you lined the inside of a Macy's paper bag with tinfoil, back in the day, you could walk in and the sensors would never go off. Like, if you went to, like, FYE for your entertainment, or Best Buy back in the day when they put their little sensors on top, you're welcome.
Well, John, I learned something new about you. And I learned something new about...
That's why I don't steal now, because I got away with it so much as a youth. It's like, all right, let me hedge my bets.
Very good. So that's common mistake number one. Has nothing to do with Macy's bags and tinfoil.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And aliens.
Wow, I knew you in it. Don't get
and
me started.
Aliens. You get me with tinfoil, I'm thinking aliens, okay?
Right.
That probably comes from the TV show Better Ask Saul, but here we go. Number two.
Okay, yeah.
Number two, legitimately, and I'm not saying this because I am a lender. I'm saying this because I believe it. The number two most common mistake that a home buyer makes is they don't have the right realtor.
Lender.
God dog it.
That's fine.
Yeah. The number two, they don't have the right
Start
lender.
over so I can get the real properly, and I don't ever. All right, so start right now. The number two reason is...
Oh, you want me to do that for
yeah,
you
because
right
I could
now?
start the real so I don't have to edit it and be so choppy.
The number two most common mistake home buyers make is not having the right lender. The right lender. At the end of the day, I will tell you this because I am a lender. We all go and get our money from the same people. We all delivered your loan into the same secondary market. So the actual secret sauce isn't that secret in terms of how loans are manufactured. Sure, some people can do them for a little bit cheaper than others. Some of them try to make more money in terms of gross revenue on your loan, and some people are willing to do it for a little bit less money. But at the end of the day, we all go and borrow our money from the same places, and we all deliver our loans to the same places, meaning it's the same with some small variances. But there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all mortgage. Mortgages must be tailor-made to match your financial needs, wants, and goals. But if you're working with a lender who, again, is either inexperienced without a team behind them. I don't mind people being inexperienced. I was once inexperienced. We all have to start somewhere. But it's all about who is that team behind you? What are the resources that this person has? What technologies are they leveraging? But if you're working with a lender who is just an order taker, you may very well be qualified for a loan and end up getting the wrong loan. An example that I would see, you called that 1-800 number because they advertise on your favorite sports programming. And you're like, yep, click button, get mortgage. I'm going to do that. And all of a sudden, you are obtaining an interest rate of 5.99% when the going rate is 7%, and you're paying $12,000 in order to do so on a home that you've already told your lender and your realtor you don't anticipate owning for more than 3 years. You probably got the wrong loan because you paid $12,000 in order to save $300 a month, at which point your break even on that is 4 years, but you're only going to live in the home for 3 years. And that's just an example of how someone could end up with the wrong loan. Sure, you qualified, but you qualified for the wrong loan. So too many times the consumer just doesn't understand that all the mortgage is a financial instrument used to help someone acquire real estate. And it's structured leveraged debt, to use like a really sexy sounding terminology that maybe is only talked about at like Wharton School of Businesses when they're thinking of like hedge funds. But no, the consumer very much, when they're looking to buy their primary home, they're leveraging debt to acquire real estate. And that debt needs to be structured in a manner that matches their financial needs, wants, and goals, that there is no one-size-fits-all mortgage. But a good lender can do that. A not good lender doesn't even know how to do that. And then you start talking about what are other things good lenders do? Good lenders, more than likely, can introduce you to really good insurance agents. Like really good, not just insurance agents who pick up the phone every time they call, but they understand insurance the same way that lender understands lending, and they can make sure that you have the proper insurance for the home that you're buying. A really good lender helps you get your offer accepted because they have a good reputation in your marketplace, because they pick up the phone and they call the listing agent, introduce themselves. A really good lender probably shows up on social. They probably show up online, which is going to put the seller and the seller's agent at ease when maybe they're not familiar with your lender, but they could easily do a little bit of online stalking and see, oh, that's who she is, or that's who he is. Oh, that's the type of content they create, right? But like not having a good lender, not only could you end up with the wrong mortgage, which could cost you thousands, but it may also cost you your house, because in a competitive market like we're getting ready to enter into, and there's multiple offers, if your lender is unknown or your lender is not responsive, then why would a seller and a seller's agent ever put your offer at the top? Unless you're willing to pay the highest price, at which point anything in life I have found has a price. But then the wrong lender is now costing you $3,000 to $5,000 in purchase price. So this mortgage for this house that you think you'll own for probably 3 to 5 years, you could have obtained the wrong loan, which ended up costing you $2,000 over the course of 5 years. But you may have also offered yourself, you prevented yourself room to negotiate. So now you paid $5,000 more for the house than you could have had you been working with a lender that maybe was known, that had a good reputation in the marketplace, who did things like reach out to the listing agent, introduce themselves, but also advocate on behalf of your offer. So there's a big difference between a good lender, an average lender, and a bad lender. And it matters to the consumer, but I don't think enough people do a good enough job of explaining that to them. You know, same thing when I talked about realtors, like that's the number one mistake is not having a realtor or having the wrong realtor. You know, please know this with your realtor, just like with your lender, like you can sit down and talk to them about, well, what are you making and what am I getting in return for your charges, right? You should ask your realtors that. What are you giving to me in terms of services and what am I paying you? And if any agent ever said, oh, you don't have to pay me because the seller does, y'all, come on. We all know that's built into your sales price. So there is something that is being paid. It might not be being paid to buy you directly to your realtor, but it very well is being paid by the seller, which means it's worked into the sales price because that seller has a certain dollar that they're looking to net when they sell the home. So, you know, all of us, lenders and realtors, are making money to assist the consumer. There's nothing wrong with them making money. They should make money, especially if they're really good. They should make a lot of money for being really good. But if they're making money, you should want to know as a consumer, well, what am I getting in return? So you should be willing to have those discussions and those conversations. And just like you may want to try to negotiate with your lender, you can also try to negotiate with your realtor. Okay. Number 3, common mistake I see home buyers make. Y'all, stop listening to your parents. This is not your parents' house. I'm not saying your parents aren't good role models, that they can't give you guidance, that they don't have experience. I'm sure they do. They have experience. They can give you some guidance, and they're probably phenomenal role models. But this is not their house, and this is not their decision. This is your decision. So you need to make the decision for what's best for you, and then you need to live with that decision.
But my mom said,
this isn't your mom's generation.
I know, but my dad had told me this.
This isn't your mom's career. This isn't your dad's house to live in. Like, cool, look to them for guidance, but at the end of the day, this is not their house. This is your house. And if you're buying a house, you must be a grown-ass adult. And at some point, as a grown-ass adult, like, do your due diligence, but I'm not saying your parents have all the answers, right? You may have friends that are a little more attuned to today's market, to how things operate in today's world, because your parents might not have bought a house for 20 years, maybe even 30 years. So in general, I'm not saying, look, I am a parent. I sure as hell hope my kids come to me for some of my guidance, but at the end of the day, they have to do their own research and make their own decision. So that's something that I see happen far too often, where the parents are interjecting and the parents are trying to, oh, you're gonna have this house for 20 or 30 years.
You know
No,
why they
you're
do that?
not.
Because I needed to get my parents on the damn cosign to even get the damn house. So they basically own it half and half. So I gotta listen to them, Dustin.
Hey, John, you know what? If that's your situation, then you definitely sleep in a different bed, right? So congratulations, you have parents who are willing to do that for you. In return, yeah, you may have to give mom and dad a say, right? That's a little bit of give and take.
And they got how did they get the primary suite and I got the Jack and Jill with my wife? That don't make no sense.
But no, I'm talking more about those home buyers out there where, look, my dad worked for the same company for 47 years, right? Like my father-in-law, 30 years. They did so because they thought they were getting a pension. They did so because that's what people did back then.
Right.
That's not what people do today.
Hell no.
Right? So the home buying decision, and more importantly, the consumer psyche of today is way different than it was. I mean, when our parents were buying houses, there was no internet. There was no remote working.
That sounds outrageous.
That is outrageous, right?
Right?
And then, I mean, hell, there was no cable TV when my parents bought their first house. Now I'm a little bit older than first-time home buyers, right? First-time home buyer on average is 33 years of age, and I have about 12. I have about 12 years on.
When I grew up, the TV we had in the living room sat on the floor and was also a piece of furniture.
Yes.
So kids don't even know what the hell that's about.
Yes. All right. So yeah, that's number 3. I kind of alluded to the common mistake number 4, but here's a common mistake number 4. This is not your forever house. Think about that. This is not your forever house. Quit looking at this like it's a forever decision. In fact, your mortgage may be a decision that lasts you for 9 to 15 months before you're getting a new mortgage, because rates more than likely are going to fall, and you may want to take advantage of that and refinance. The home that you buy, gosh, on average, 7 years on average. That means some of you are going to sell this house in 3 to 5 years. Others, it's going to be closer to 8 to 10. Rarely are people owning one piece of real estate for greater than 12 to 15 years.
That's eons.
Rarely.
That's eons in today's age.
Yeah, so please quit looking at this like it's a 20 or 30-year decision or a forever decision. It's a right now decision. It's typically a 3 to 5 year decision, with 7 being the top tier, right? Selling a home after 3 years, that's kind of like pretty quick. But for you to sell your house after 7, nah, man, that's pretty normal. After 5, yep, no one's going to question that decision either. So that would be common mistake number 4. And then finally, common mistake number 5 that I see home buyers make over and over again. And I see it as a home seller. So as a home seller, where my company is selling 30, 40 homes retail per year. Now we sell some that are wholesale that you'll never see because they don't ever hit the MLS. But if it's retail, that means we bought it, we fixed it, it looks pretty. We have to take this into account because y'all as home buyers, you cannot get past the aesthetics, right? A realtor could show a home buyer house, the perfect neighborhood in the cul-de-sac with no neighbors in front of them, in the perfect school system, the right layout, the right square footage, the number of garages they needed.
I hate the crown molding. Can't do it.
If they cannot get past the color of the paint on the walls, if they can't get past the fact that there's weeds all throughout the flower beds, and that there's old, crappy vinyl flooring, whatever the case may be, they don't make an offer. They don't make an offer. I'm like, y'all, offer something. Even if you offered $10,000 less, or even if you offered what they wanted, but then you turned around and say, I want a $20,000 allowance so that I can recarpet the place, or you want $15,000 to cover your closing costs, wherever the case may be. Offer something, but it's a very common mistake. Home buyers cannot get past that curb appeal, which is why a good realtor will sit down with the seller and say, look, your house is worth X, but if it doesn't look like this, and show them a picture of a house that's really clean and updated, I probably can't get you X. I can probably only get you Y. And then as a seller, you have to make the decision. Do I want to go drop the money, listen to my realtor, who, by the way, is who I hired to be the expert? So I would say, yes, listen to the realtor. And that would sometimes require people to have their house pressure washed, repainted, have some of the landscaping ripped out and just some basic landscaping put back in, and then go in the inside and paint everything a neutral color, possibly even rip up the crazy flooring that you had put in and put something down that's neutral, right? Sellers are doing that in many markets. But if you're a buyer, that's your opportunity to negotiate a deal if you can just wrap your simpleton brain around the fact that this house has everything you want. It just needs some lipstick. It needs some makeup.
I love everything about it except that patch of yellow grass in the back can't make an offer.
Yes, you would be amazed. You would absolutely be amazed at some of the decisions that are made.
You know what, Dustin? I don't think in today's day and age I would be amazed by any level of ignorance, shall we say, by humanity.
And by the way, please don't say in today's day and age. That's one thing that bothers me.
Today's day and age? Oh, wow. It's gotten worse.
It has not gotten worse.
Are you serious?
I would want you to show me, before I ever even believe you.
Oh, my goodness.
I want you to get me some kind of statistical analysis
Oh, don't hit me
on
with,
the way things were versus the way things are.
Maybe it's just my lizard brain.
Is there more crime today or less crime today?
Oh, I'm not talking about crime. I'm just talking about quality programming like Mr. Wizard, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Beekman's World for my nerds out there.
All right. Sopranos.
Never saw him.
Okay, it's a classic.
I know.
Okay, it was one of the best, most
watched, downloaded, whatever at the time.
Yep.
DVD sold at the time.
1999 was when it premiered.
Does not age well.
Okay, it ran all the way through about 2005.
Yep.
I'm watching it right now with my wife.
Horrible.
It's still a good show, but no, it is not as good as the programming that is done today. The programming done today is better.
Because you'd be like in Yellowstone and them long drone shots with Kevin Costner.
It's just everything about even the dialogue, even some of the writing, right? It's like the storyline's still the storyline and it's still good. And, it had some phenomenal actors and actresses in the show, but the quality just from 20 years ago. So no, I don't buy into that. In fact, I get offended when people are like, oh gosh, the world's not getting any better.
Not getting no better.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to believe you. You're going to have to actually make your case.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you just make a blanket statement without any type of evidence to back it up, because I don't think that's true.
You sound like my wife, and I have no evidence for you, honey. I just know that's not what you said yesterday.
And I have a friend who studies sociology, and he can show some crime statistics, because God only knows. People are like, oh, Chicago.
Right.
Oh, good luck going there. I'm like, well, wait a minute. What are we comparing it to? Because it's actually, statistically, now the naysayers and the conspiracy theorists like you, John, are going to then start talking about how, the statistics are being padded and things are being brushed underneath the rug.
Did you know that there was no such peanut butter as Jiffy? It was just Jif.
Until when?
Forever. There was no Jiffy peanut butter with the J and the look. It was always Jif, J-I-F. You're welcome. Dive down the rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Right, I guess on that note, we have to find a way to wrap this shit
But you
up,
know what I'm
don't we?
talking about, though, right? Jif peanut butter?
Yeah.
You thought it was Jiffy, like Jiffy. Jif.
You made me cough again. That's 3 times in one episode.
I know.
Holy cow.
No, but that was honestly, that's really insightful shit that you said, Dustin. All 5 things. I can rememorize them. Number 1, make sure you have the right realtor. and a good realtor or something.
Yes.
Number 2, make sure you have the right lender and a good lender or something. Don't listen to your parents because they're old and on geriatrics. Number 4, and this is where I got caught up when I got called out in class. Number 4.
How long are you going to live there for?
How long are you going to live? Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to give me a hint. You just gave me the answer. Perfect, teacher. Number 5. This isn't. Help me.
Think painting carpets.
Oh, yeah. You can like clean up that patch of dead grass in the front yard. So don't get over it.
There you go, John. One of these days, we're going to turn you in to just a walking, talking advisor.
You
for
know
all
what's
things real estate
scary and
mortgage.
hilarious? I probably know more after 400 episodes. I probably know more than most lenders and realtors combined that are actually licensed. That should scare the shit out of people.
I would not even argue that. I wouldn't argue that A, you know a lot, and B, that shouldn't scare people.
Doesn't make me good.
But I also know that you probably play off how much you know.
Oh, I play hella stupid.
Yeah.
It's easier that way.
All right.
This is fun for me, Dustin.
I hope people enjoyed listening and tuning in. This was a lighthearted episode, right? But I felt like it's, 2024, new year, new me. There's
new
people,
studio.
There's new people. There's people who are going to be getting their income tax refund check. There's people who didn't buy last year that really want to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
The millennial generation, they're chomping at the bit. So this episode, it was for them, right? These are the 5 things. We could probably chop off the 20 minutes in the front and the 5 minutes in the back.
False.
But nonetheless.
That's what makes us us.
All right. That's what makes us us. If you like us and you like what we're doing, share us. Tell not 1, not 2, but 3 people to tune in. We have over 400 episodes. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere that you tune in to audio podcast. You can follow us on social. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at The Loan Officer Podcast. We're on LinkedIn, both as The Loan Officer Podcast, and you can connect with me individually on LinkedIn. First name Dustin, last name Owen. His name is John Coleman. My name is Dustin Owen. That is all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you in the next episode.